Space Cadets, and welcome back to a new installment in our podcast series. In our podcast series, we discuss what we want to about video games, movies, and more video games. And so, it's just me today, Octopus, and I thought it would be fun to talk about the future of my favorite console right now, which is the Nintendo Switch. The interesting thing about the Nintendo Switch is that it's short lifespan. You know, this thing was released in March, and it's basically almost sold half, or is predicted to sell more than the Wii U has in its entire lifespan, and that is just incredible. It's something that I don't know if I saw coming after I watched all the release trailers for it. Wasn't sure if people were going to like it, but obviously that is proven to be wrong. I've seen many people that aren't really gamers become interested in it. Probably because of its portability. I know it appeals to a lot of college students who will take it on the go with them, you know, while you're waiting for class, pick up and play. And it's just really interesting to see how this is like a new fad. I love playing it in dock mode, but I fall into the 1% where I sometimes probably play it a little bit more out of the dock, even though I like the higher resolution and playing with the Pro controller on my monitor, and but I really do take it on the go. So I think it's just so unique, and it's so good to see Nintendo actually succeed after suffering for quite a while in the years of the Wii U. Now, one of the big differences that I want to talk about that is very noticeable when you compare the launch of the Wii U and the launch of the Switch is that the launch of the Wii U had no games. Well, let me be clear. No first-party games. There was two. There was Super Mario Bros. Wii U, which was your regular 2D Mario, and you could play, like, you know, your 4 characters and all that good stuff. And, you know, it's not a bad game, but it just didn't have a lot of depth to it. I might have played it for, I don't know, maybe probably only a few weeks. Beat it, was basically done with it. And then I had to wait for quite a while for Pikmin 3 to come out. But a lot of problems that the Wii U suffered from with the lack of launch titles. They had third-party support, but you know, it wasn't the strongest gaming selection right there. And they had a very poor advertising scheme. So there was a combination of those three things that contributed to the ultimate failure to the Wii U. And even after the launch of it, you know, you had some really good games that had come out. I thought it was starting to pick up, but then we kind of fell back into a slump. You know, they're trying to revive some of their IPs, like Star Fox. You know, that game didn't go as well as it should have. They're trying new experimental things, like with Animal Crossing, the board game, and that was like a hard time for me. I remember watching the unfortunate announcement of that game, but I'll get to that later. But the style and stuff is very different when we're talking about the Switch. You know, we've launched with some incredible titles, first party and third party. The third party releases like Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I love that game. I've put in over 60 hours into that game. Bought the DLC, 100% and completed it. Had a wonderful time with that game. That game is so unique. But it's just a combination of good games, a good concept, even though it's limiting the hardware, like the specs and all that stuff for the games that can be produced. It's just so interesting to see how well this is doing compared to the Wii U. And I think what's gonna help Nintendo in the future is this consistency of a game lineup, because I have seen many videos saying that people's wallets are going to be basically gone by Christmas time, and that's true. You know, we have Doom, LA Noire, we have Skyrim coming out, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 still, and I had bought the Switch at launch, so I've gotten the Zelda, I got the Mario Kart, I got Super Mario Odyssey that came out a month ago, Fire Emblem Warriors, the whole 9 yards. I've gotten many of the big games at launch date when they've come out, and there's this thing about this consistency that was really never there with the Wii U. Like I said, I got the first game, Super Mario Bros. Wii U, and I had to wait a solid 3 to 4 months, I think, for Pikmin 3, and that just killed my spirits. I would never play the Wii U, whereas right now I am playing the Switch every single day and having a great time with it. With that said, what is very, I think, unnerving for people, and I know Nintendo likes to do this on purpose, is that we really don't have any idea what's coming in the next year, 2018. And Nintendo does this on purpose, where they don't really show us a lot in their future. And I think that kind of benefits them, but it also doesn't, because we have a lot of skepticism that maybe it was just a first year big bang, and then they're gonna just not have anything next year. And I think that's a very good point, because that very well may happen, but Nintendo also likes to surprise us. And I think in the past they've done that a lot with a lot of their presentations. We have to remember that this is Nintendo, and they really just do their own thing. They hate spoiling things. They hate when the leaks come out. But with that said, I thought today it would be fun to go over what I think is coming next year. At E3 this year, we were shown quite a few games that were slotted for 2018. And so one of those games was Kirby Star Allies. I've liked every single Kirby game that I've played, and what it really reminds me of is Return to Dreamland on the Wii, where it's 2D scrolling. There's a gimmick, which in that game it was sucking up an enemy that had an overpowered ability, and then you can cruise to the level and basically beat up everything in there. Now, I don't think that gimmick's there, but the new gimmick, I think, is a returning gimmick in a way, which is the capturing of enemies, which was seen in Kirby Superstar Saga. Now, that game was great. I played through Superstar Ultra, which was for the Nintendo DS. Was it DS? Yeah, the DS. At the same time, for the DS, I played Squeak Squad, and that has been my favorite Kirby game to date. And that was because of the fact that you can combine certain powers, and you can like create a flame sword or a lightning sword or lightning bombs, ice bombs, and that mechanic, just, I loved it. And once I learned how to do that mechanic, I could replay the game over and over and over again and not get bored. And that's where I think Star Allies is going to succeed, because we've seen in the trailers how we can combine these two abilities into one ability. And I think that is going to be something that makes or breaks this Kirby game for me. I don't think it's going to be a bad Kirby game by any means, because I've never played a Kirby game that's bad, but I think the general consensus and fear of this game is going to be, it might just be mediocre. And I think if there's not anything new to this game, I think that's just going to leave not a bad taste, but it's not going to reach the level of perfection and newness that the Nintendo Switch has brought to the forefront, where we see giant leaps in games like Zelda, where a temple-based progression to this open world free roaming action adventure game. And I think that is what people on the Switch are hoping for. We're hoping for these brand new titles that take the IP in a new and improved direction. And I think that's where this Kirby game is going to fall flat. If it doesn't do anything new to change up the formula, it's going to do well, but it won't do as well as it should. If they do 3D sections in the game, that would, like in the Kirby 64 era, if they do that, people are going to be a lot more inclined to buy this game, because it's new, it's fresh. Maybe like a combination of 2D and 3D segments in this game would be the perfect medium, and with all the good returning abilities, as well as the being able to control your enemies, being able to mix your abilities together to create kind of combo ability, I think that would just make this game perfect, but we can only hope for that. So with that said, I think Kirby really it's on my list of things to get, but it's not very high up there because we haven't really seen anything else about it yet. If anything, I think it would be definitely a February game, kind of how the last Kirby game was released in February, which was the one on the Wii U, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, I think that was. I'm gonna have to fact check that, but I could see that coming out in a February range, which would help with the gap between Xenoblade Chronicles, whatever comes next in 2018. That's my number 5 spot, is Kirby Star Allies 2018. So this is a game that, for the number 4 spot, that hasn't been announced, but I strongly think that this game's going to be given to us in 2018, which is the new Mario Kart. So when I say the new Mario Kart, I'm not gonna jump to Mario Kart 9 because we've already got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which was a good strategy. I've done a review on this game. If you check out our channel, you can go find that and watch it. I think it's a really good video. The placement of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is basically on the Switch is because of the poor Wii U sales. The fact that Mario Kart 8 was a really, really good game, the DLC for that game was fantastic, and just not a lot of people had the system, and I think making that available on the Switch right away, I think that's okay. Would I have wanted a new Mario Kart game? Of course I would, but of course I bought it, and I've played it for almost 100 hours. I still play it when it's kind of my go-to game when I just kind of want to relax, is to play that. And the reason why I think a new Mario Kart game is going to come out is because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe didn't take very long to make. You add a few new characters, you add a few more cars, just add all the DLC and stuff into the game, boom, done. So Mario Kart 8 was released in 2014. 2018 would be 4 years after. And so I think the production time that it takes, unless they're doing a very, very large Mario Kart, I think it's time for just a new iteration of Mario Kart. So what I think is going to happen is that we're going to see a return to the Double Dash style gameplay as we've seen in the GameCube. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm kind of seeing this distinct connection between Switch owners and GameCube owners. Everybody that owns a Switch wants the GameCube Virtual Console on it. And I think that there's this nostalgic GameCube-ish feel to the Switch. Even though the GameCube did so poorly, people still consider that one of the best gaming consoles of all time. And I think that returning to this Double Dash style would make people flock to the system. Do I think it's coming early or later in 2018? I would probably say much later, since they haven't shown any trailers off for it. So I think maybe in this, hopefully when we get the winter direct, we'll see something about Mario Kart. I really just think it's going to be another Double Dash. I don't think they're going to going with the Mario Kart 7 or 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't think they're going to keep going with that Mario Kart, but I think that would just be a good idea, just because it connects kind of that nostalgic feel that the Switch is giving off for the GameCubes. Double Dash isn't my favorite Mario Kart game, mainly because of the drifting mechanics are a little bit wonky in that game, but when you have 2 players, the game is fantastic to play with another person. And the Switch comes with the 2 Joy-Cons, so basically comes in with a built-in multiplayer, and I could just see myself sitting down at my college math table, bring out the Switch, play Double Dash with a few of the kids sitting around, and it would just be a really, really good time. And I think they don't really have to pull anything spectacular off here. It could just be very, very simplistic Double Dash. They could probably just do exactly what they did with the GameCube. Just they would have to bring in a lot more racetracks and a really good battle mode. You can't take out. It basically wouldn't be Double Dash if they didn't have a very good battle system. I would say if we don't get it next year, we'll definitely get it the year after, and we'll definitely see something in regards to a Mario Kart trailer beginning early next year or even at E3. That's number 4 on my spot. And so we're gonna keep moving on to spot number 3, which is Yoshi. That was first seen at E3 this year, and it was also demoed there by the Treehouse, and it has been given a 2018 release. Not month yet, but the year. First of all, this was a hard thing to put on my list, mainly because I'm pretty sure it is by the Woolly World creators, Goodfeel, the producers and developers. They had shown off their Yoshi game for Yoshi's Woolly World at E3 2 years prior to when it was going to come out, and they kept pushing and pushing that release date back. And I really hope that this Yoshi game doesn't do that. I hope it's pretty far in development. I hope we're going to get it in 2018. But just from what I remember with Yoshi's Woolly World is that it kept getting pushed back, delayed, pushed back, delayed, and that's just not. It's not cool if you're a Yoshi fan, basically, which I am. But on the good side is that Woolly World is an amazing game, and the only reason why I didn't sell as many units as it should have is because of, like I said, the Wii U's terrible sales. I think Woolly World perfected what I want in a Yoshi game. The level layouts, the aesthetics, the art style, all of it was perfect. I really think Yoshi's Woolly World is the perfect Yoshi game. With that said, from what we have seen from the trailers and stuff, they are going to repeat a lot of the things they did in Yoshi's Woolly World. Now, what I mean by that is that the art style is almost the same, except they're using a more papery aesthetic, kind of like in Paper Mario Color Splash. I am not sure how I feel about the aesthetics. We've only seen trailers, we've seen a little bit of gameplay, so it's not the full version yet, but I'm not entirely on board with the paper mechanics. However, what I am on board for is the new level style that they're trying to do. So basically, the new level structure is you can go through a level, and at certain points in the game, you can kind of veer, you can turn the level all the way around and veer into a different direction, or you can keep going straight. And sometimes you have to use those to get through a certain path, get to a different objective, but apparently you can go, some levels you can go entirely in two separate ways, and you have to play through it twice to see the full entire level, and I think that's really cool. I also think they've showed off the multiplayer for it that Yoshi Woolly World had, and that's really good. I like the it's a lot of it's chaotic, it's fun, but that's kind of any multiplayer that's in a Nintendo game is chaotic and fun. It can be frustrating at times, but I think overall it's something good. We really haven't seen a lot more about this Yoshi game. And so I'm wondering if it's going to be an August game or winter game or somewhere in like probably October. I feel like it would be a good time to release that game. Because, I don't know, I just feel like Yoshi really isn't like a spring game or a summer game. I feel like it's really just kind of like a fall layback type of game. And I would be okay with that. I don't need another Yoshi game right away. I know it's definitely not a game that a lot of people look forward to, but for me personally, I've played every single Yoshi game there is known today, even the bad ones. For me, this would be really, really awesome to get this off in 2018. Please don't push it back, because I would love to have a platformer with my favorite, one of my favorite Mario characters, Yoshi. It would actually be very good for the Switch because we really haven't seen a 2D platformer yet on it. So it'd be one of the first, that and Kirby would be the first kind of two, that and Kirby would be the first two 2D games that the Switch is going to see. And I think those are two really, besides Mario, two very strong candidates for that genre, that platforming genre. And that would be just great to have in 2018 fall when I pick up my first fall game. Should be Yoshi. So that's number 3. And now going into the next two, we don't have any idea what they are. What the first one actually hasn't even been announced. The second one is announced, and that is the new Pokemon game that the creator of the series announced at E3. If this game comes out next year, it is not going to be in first quarter, it's not going to be in second quarter, it's not going to be in third quarter, it's going to be the last month of the year, in December. Why is this? Well, Pokemon can single-handedly move probably at least 1 million Switch units alone. And that's just people that don't have the Switch by next year. And it can probably do more than just 1 million Switches. There will be some people that don't care about the Switch at all. There will be people that don't care about any of the games on the Switch. They won't care about Super Mario Odyssey. They won't care about Zelda. But they will care about Pokemon. Pokemon is this unique series where the Pokemon Company are allowed to kind of do their own thing. We get a game, a traditional game, generally every single year, whether it be Black and White 2, X, Y. We basically get a Pokemon game every single year. And whether it be a recreation of an already existing generation or it being an entirely new generation, people will are gonna buy it, and they end up becoming one of the best-selling games of the year. The reason why a Switch version is so important is because I don't think we're gonna have another 3DS successor. I think the Switch is the 3DS successor, and for right now, any Pokemon game, for exception of a few, the mainline Pokemon series has been on a handheld system. And I think there was a little bit of delay from the Pokemon company to immediately jump to a different ship, being the Switch ship. And I think now that they understand what the consumer wants from the Switch, they see the potential of it, and that is why they are making a new game for it. They've stated before that the new Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that are coming out are being worked on by a younger, very, very younger team, leaving the older half of the Pokemon company to work on this new Switch game. Now, I'm not going to go into any predictions or the lore of Pokemon because that could go on for a very, very long time, trying to figure out what is going to be next. I'll just throw out one of my opinions on what it should be. There seems to be this consensus from Pokemon fans to want a game that connects each and every generation together. Not when I say that, I'm not just talking about Pokemon, but you can go from the Kanto region to the Johto region to the Hoenn region, and so on and so forth. And we've seen this before in Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Gold, and Pokemon Crystal, where you can travel between Kanto and Johto after you beat the game. Now, I know that is a very popular belief and want and desire. The problem with it is I don't see how they could fully pull it off. I think if they do try to go that route, they're gonna make a new region, and after you beat the main game, your post game, what they need to do is they need to make a really big post game, because I feel like the most recent Pokemon games, especially Sun and Moon, Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, they've all lacked something, and that something is post game content. The battle tree, the end of the game kind of battle royale type battle tower is okay. It's not for me personally. I can get pretty far up there, but it doesn't make me want to play the game more. But what I want to play more is a story, post-game story. And very easily on the Switch version, since it can be a bigger file, more possibilities, you can make the region very, very, very expansive, as well as traveling to other regions that have their own unique story to it. And I think the post-game that has been lacking recently, what they could really do is hit home with a very, very good post-game story. The Pokemon Company seems to be building up this very interconnected type world, especially with Sun and Moon, with the Ultra Beasts and that kind of stuff. This interconnectedness between each of the regions. And even some of the villains in the game are coming back in the newest installment, which hopefully I'll get when they release. But I don't know, it'd just be interesting to see what route they go. They could just make an entirely new region, or remake. There's been rumors about remaking Gen 4, but if they really wanted to go that extra mile, making that the interconnected regions would be, with a really, really good post game, would be fantastic. If they go that extra mile to give us that, I don't think we would be seeing it in 2018. It would be pushed back to 2019. But we really don't know very much about it other than it's coming, and so we can only hope for what's in store for us in regards to the Pokemon series franchise. If we're being realistic, December release date to help move some Christmas presents. Nothing too mind-blowing. Very, very good story. Very, very large regions. Good 3D model characters and that kind of stuff, and just an overall very good post game. I think that's what we should be looking forward to. And so finally, my last game that I wanted to talk about that hasn't been announced is the infamous Animal Crossing for the Switch. And as I said in the video before, or earlier in the video, Animal Crossing is a series that every Nintendo fan loves, but they decide to stab you in the heart a bunch of times while waiting for a new game. This all started when Animal Crossing, the board game, the video game released. Now, was I a little bit upset? I was very upset when they released that on E3. I remember the commercial, or not the commercial, I remember the trailer that basically stated worldwide release, new, was all fancy and stuff. And then I see the title, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, and I was like, is this for real right now? And my heart sank. My heart sank very deep. I almost stopped watching the entire conference. I thought I was gonna get what I had basically been waiting for since City Folk. I was gonna get an Animal Crossing game on the TV. Now, granted, New Leaf was an amazing, amazing game. It was the first Animal Crossing game I have ever put so much time and effort to, where I was making panels that I could put on the ground to make my town as realistic as I possibly can make it. I was breeding flowers, I was collecting everything, I was collecting all the furniture, I was upgrading my house to the max. I think you guys get the picture. I had probably put in close to 300 plus hours into that game. And there is a point in time that every single Animal Crossing person gets to, which is, alright, I've played this game enough, and I'll go back to it every once in a while and play it for like a week, but then I'll put it back down. And after 2 years of playing that game, I got to that point. Mainly because I was looking forward to a new Animal Crossing experience for the Wii U. And that trailer was like shooting an arrow through my heart. And basically ever since that trailer, I have wanted an Animal Crossing game for the Switch, the Wii U. I didn't even care what console it came for. I just wanted it on the TV so that I can relax and play it on the big screen. Fast forward to, I think it was last year, where they had an Animal Crossing Direct. And I thought, hey, we're gonna see production or a trailer for the new Animal Crossing game. Nope, just another extension from New Leaf. Good extension to it? Yes. Good addition to it? Yes. New amiibo cards? Sure, I'm all for it. But nothing. Nothing at all. And it has remained that way, where we've seen absolutely nothing about Animal Crossing. And being a fan of the series is so hard right now, just because we're in this drought of just not having one. We have a lot of amiibo. I have every single Animal Crossing amiibo just for the next installment of the game. I have many amiibo cards for Animal Crossing, the Animal Crossing amiibo cards. I have a lot of those for the game. And basically, I just can't wait for this game. And unfortunately, every single E3, including this E3, since the release of Amiibo Festival, I have been slightly disappointed no matter how good the presentation is, no matter what games are released. I'm always disappointed, and this goes for every single Direct as well, when there is no mention of Animal Crossing. It hurts my heart. I get very, like, okay, all the other games are pretty cool, but they didn't release an Animal Crossing, so it kind of just lowers my level of excitement just a little bit. There has been more than enough time for the Animal Crossing development team to have a fully functioning game running on the Switch by 2018. There is no excuse for not having one on the Wii U. But we have to look forward as Animal Crossing fans and just expect that they're going to play off the New Leaf style of gameplay. Basically where you're the mayor and you basically control everything in your town. And this is really good because of how, I would say New Leaf is probably the best installment in the franchise just because of all the freedom that you get. You can go swimming. You can create a bunch of things for your town, like lights. You get to build the lighthouse. You get to go to an island. You get to play games to get points, to get new cool material. You can catch sharks. You can catch giant bugs. You can have this really cool museum. Arts, I'm pretty sure getting artwork is a lot easier. There's just so much to do in it. And what I think that they're gonna do, and this is just my prediction of what they're gonna do, is that they're gonna try to make it so it's kind of like an Animal Crossing world. When Nintendo tries launching their online services, what they're gonna do is that they're gonna make this game, this Animal Crossing game, and it's gonna be connected with everyone in the world. So at any point, you can leave your town, and you can just walk, and you can reach other people's towns, and you can interact with them while they're playing the game. And I think that would be really cool because you wouldn't have to wait. You might have to wait a few loading screens, but you could, if you have a friend that's playing it as well, you can easily go to their town, see what they're doing, hang out, basically play something that I feel not a lot of people get to experience in the game, which is Animal Crossing multiplayer. They dabbled with it on the Wii with City Folk, but it wasn't perfect. But for the Switch, it is so good because you can do a variety of ways. One way you could do it right on the TV and just use the internet to basically go to anybody's town who's playing. Is there limitations that they're gonna have to change on that? Of course, because you don't want somebody coming to your town, chopping down all your hard work, running through all your plants, and all that stuff. But I think that if they figure out a way to make it interconnected, it will just sell that game like hotcakes. The other way that I was going to mention about playing it is that it is the perfect local multiplayer connection game. Your friend brings their Switch over, you have your Switch, you connect local with the local wireless, and boom, be perfect. This is another game, once the trailer comes out, I'll probably do a discussion on it just separately by myself. Again, just because it's a game that I'm very excited for. It's a game that a lot of people are excited for. It is a game that people are actually expecting. And I think that's why this game needs to come out next year, is because people are expecting this game. And you're going to start losing favor with your fans if you don't release a game soon. This might be why we haven't seen a lot of things about Animal Crossing, just because they don't want to keep making empty promises that it's going to come out next year, and then it gets delayed, and it's going to come out next year. So that might be why they're keeping their mouth shut. But what we do have to look forward to in the franchise is the new mobile app that's coming out this month, actually, that I'm going to download, probably play every day until the new Animal Crossing comes out, because I need my Animal Crossing fix. It's definitely a fix. You play that game, you get your fix, and you get that fix for as long as you need, and then you wait for the new one. And so I think it is time for a new one. I think it will come in the springtime, because that's when I love playing Animal Crossing. I will be sure to be covering it when we see the first trailer for it. That's on my to-do list, even though a lot of people probably aren't as big as Animal Crossing fans as I am. It's definitely something that is very personal. But with that said, 2018 Animal Crossing, possibilities are basically endless, and that is the game that will define that year. Out of any game that they could release next year, that is the one that needs to come out. Animal Crossing Switch. And with that, that is my last game on my list that I made. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. If you like it, you can comment on it. Put in the comments what you would like to hear us talk about on this channel. Even though it's just me, Octopus, today, I'm sure that Gramps and Super Saiyan would love to hear what you guys have to say, and we'll make some pretty interesting discussions on whatever you guys want us to. If not, we'll come up with really cool topics to talk about. Also, remember to subscribe to our channel. It'll help out a lot. I know we're pretty small right now, but I think we have some very good ideas, and I think we're going to have a lot of reviews coming out in the upcoming months. So if you don't want to miss one of our videos, just hit that subscribe button, and it will help a lot. And we work very hard every single day to produce content that people will enjoy. And I hope all of you who have listened for this whole thing will enjoy this podcast, and hopefully we'll get the podcast up and running every week like we wanted them to. So yeah, thank you all for watching. See you in the next one, Space Cadets. Over and out.